Okay, so Fallout 4 happened. It came out in 2014, late 2014, and it was nothing that the human race could do. It was the fifth line in the main series Fallout games. Okay, maybe 76 came out, but let's be honest, 76, no one really cares about that game. Fallout 4 is where it's at. It is the true final game in the main Fallout series, at least until Fallout 5, which they're working on, comes out, because we don't count Fallout 76. But I've played Fallout a ton right here. So as you can see, I know my Fallout stuff. I absolutely love Fallout 4, great game. So I thought I'd play it again, but with a twist. This time, can I beat the game using only unarmed weapons? Now, there are three types of melee weapons in Fallout 4: bladed, blunt, and unarmed. Bladed weapons are your swords, knives, battle axes, and whatever. And blunt stuff is like clubs and sledgehammers and super sledges and whatever. But unarmed weapons are unique because they cannot be used while you're in power armor. They consist of power armor fists, your own fists, brass knuckles, boxing gloves, and some other punching weapons. So my goal is to go through Fallout 4, usually just doing the main stories, maybe a side quest, one or two here or there, just to go ahead and get some experience, continue and level up faster. So that was my goal, and this is how that went.
War. War never changes.
With that amazing and recognizable intro right out of the way, we go ahead, and I don't edit my character at all, because I don't care. We go ahead and meet this guy, this door, not a door salesman. He's telling us we're allowed into the vault. Awesome. He also goes ahead and teaches us how to put our skills and whatever into the, I think it's called strength. I don't remember what the acronym is. Special, there you go. So, strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck. We also name our character Dragon, of course. And I immediately go all my points into strength. The reason why we want as much damage as possible so that we don't have to, fight as hard because we can just go ahead and one-shot everything. At least that's the goal. I also was going to originally make myself super tanky, but I thought about it and I was like, okay, being really tanky at the start is fine, but I also need to do some skill checks because I cannot win every single fight just by punching. I need to talk myself out of certain battles. So I thought about it a little bit and I changed it up. I put 7 of my other points into charisma and 7 into endurance just so I'm very tanky, but I can also talk my way out of anything if I need to. Of course, Sean, he's crying and having a poopy butt or whatever babies do, and my wife is like, spend attention with him, time, whatever. Sure, spin this thing. Then, of course, there goes on the TV, something's going on, and all of a sudden an air raid siren starts. You all know what that means. Nuclear bombs are coming. So we hear that, and we immediately make a book for the vault, which, surprisingly enough, is in our neighborhood. Sure, whatever. So we run to the vault, make it past this check-in, and a nuclear bomb goes off right beside the vault. So, all the characters rightfully start panicking. It makes sense. So we immediately start descending down into the vault, just as the blast goes over our heads. Honestly, I don't think you'd survive that, but hey, who the heck knows? We get into the vault, we get all our stuff, and we go into the cryo chamber, which means we're going to go to sleep for a very long time in ice. All these vaults, by the way, they're used to test humans. We're subjects. But whatever. My wife doesn't want to go for Sean, so she gets eliminated from the process as they need the child. She gets eliminated. I go ahead and break myself out of this thing. Little do I know, 200 years has passed. We found out a little bit on spoiler. But yeah, 200 years has passed. We break out here, and with our newfound determination, because our wife's been killed, we go to track down the murderer of our wife and to find the kidnapper of Sean. So, obviously right away, we have to clear out some rad roaches. It's just like a tutorial to teach us fighting. So I go ahead and I start punching this stuff because, I can only punch. And I won't get a weapon for a little bit now anyways. Which is totally fine. Punching, with my strength level, I can one-shot anything, at least right now. But then I made the mistake of, as I'm looting up all the basic stuff as well, I looted up a pistol, and because I didn't have the Pip-Boy yet, I can't access my inventory to unequip this pistol, meaning that now I have to go through the rest of this vault And I can't attack anything because butt stalking does not count as unarmed damage, so I can't do that. So I'm being attacked relentlessly by these rad roaches, and I can't fight back at all. I can't shoot, and I can't butt stalk. I try to pick up the Pip-Boy, but I'm in combat, so that doesn't work. I resort to trying to like trap all the rad roaches behind a door, but they honestly almost killed me. I got really low, and remember, these are the most basic of enemies, and I'm playing on hard mode, by the way, so I'm already like, okay, if it's this bad, clearly this is gonna be a struggle. But we move right along, and I go ahead and I pick up the Pip-Boy. You know, it gives you access to your inventory, map, radio, everything. I immediately unfavorite the pistol, and now I can use my fists once again, which is perfect. So I leave the vault. Before I do, I quickly change up my perks because I honestly didn't like what I had chosen. So I got rid of one skill in both endurance and charisma to make my intelligence better to get more experience, because intelligence raises your experience. Plus, I wanted to be able to hack. Little did I know you need level 4, but we'll get onto that. Codsworth tells us 200 years has passed, and he's distraught because, you know, he hasn't seen us. Whatever, I don't really care. I go over to Dogmeat, who's at the Red Rocket, which is honestly, sadly, there's so many cool companions in this game. Preston's pretty good. Even Codsworth is okay. Curie, the Strong, the super mutant. But the companion I will be sticking with through the entire game here is Dogmeat. And the reason why, Dogmeat boosts yourself so much with his attack dog perk. And there's also a perk that's a little bit bugged that we'll go into a little bit later with Dogmeat that is so unbelievably good. So, but what I do is I go back to the vault really quick, because if you didn't know, there's a bug that you can use here. Remember, I can't use guns, but I send Dogmeat into the cage where the cryolator is, which means you need a master locksmith to get in there. And I tell him to fetch and look for any good items. And Dogmeat found something. What does he find? He somehow breaks through this master locked thing and steals the gun for me. No, I can't use it, but I plan on selling it later on because it's like 300 caps, which in this run, I need the best armor and the best weapons, which I can only buy with caps. So why not go ahead and get that? So I head down to Concord where, you know, Preston takes out someone right in front of me, but I need to just take out some raiders to go ahead and help him out. It's the very, very first mission. I go ahead and start fighting these raiders because, you know, I'm that helpful, nice guy. I level up in the process, which is really nice. I take all their stuff because I need the armor and I can sell it. I take down the final raider outside, and he has knuckles, meaning that I now have my own very own weapon, brass knuckles, which is amazing because now I can definitely maybe one or two shot these other raiders that are inside the building, which also will help me later on because I can upgrade these as we go before we get some of the best weapons in the game, best melee weapons even. So I immediately go ahead and I, favorite these weapons just so I can really quickly equip the knuckles if for some reason they come unequipped. Because honestly, even the Fallout 4 has been out for almost 10 years now, it's still very laggy. So I go into the building here, the library or museum or whatever it is, and I make my way to the top, all the way to where Preston Garvey is of the Minutemen. I immediately ignore him and grab the nearest magazine, whatever, just grab that, get the game. I immediately go over and grab the perception bobblehead just to increase my perception. I guess that'll make my sneak better, whatever. And then I immediately leave and don't talk to him because honestly I'm not doing the Minutemen this time, I'm doing something else. He gets kind of mad, but whatever. I go to the roof, get inside the power armor. The reason why is power armor might actually be very useful for getting one of the better weapons later on down the line. Because I definitely will be one shot if I don't have power armor when I go ahead and try and get it. But I go back to the Red Rocket area and I go ahead and upgrade my knuckles to be spiked so they have armor piercing and they just do more damage, which is really, really good. I also then go ahead to the back of the area to start upgrading some of my armor because if I'm running right up close to people with, guns, melee weapons of their own, whatever, especially like raiders or ghouls, I need to have a lot better armor. So I upgrade it as best I can until I move on. Then later on, after finding some more stuff, I found another workbench and I upgrade my stuff there. I then go ahead and follow the radio area to the Cambridge Police Department where some unit of the Brotherhood of Steel is, which is the ending I'm going for. If you don't know, you have to join a faction, and the Brotherhood of Steel is one of these factions. So I go ahead and start helping out Paladin Dance, taking out the ghouls, and it's time to meet the man himself. He is a Paladin, which is some really high rank, not the highest rank, but it is a much higher rank in this new society. So after talking with him, I leveled up, and I go ahead, and I haven't actually shown my levels yet, but I did put Appointed Iron Fist to do more unarmed damage, and the Lone Wanderer, What the Lone Wanderer does, if you don't have a companion at all, then you take 15% less damage, or your damage resistance is up by 15%, and you can carry 50 more items. But it's glitch with dog meat as your companion. That perk still works, so you can still have a pretty good companion who can like hold stuff down for you. I go ahead and get toughness, which adds on some more damage resistance, and then Paladin Dance. He wants to go head out and repair something to call in Elder Maxon, the leader of the Brotherhood of Steel. So that's where we go ahead and go, grab whatever part we need. But the unfortunate thing is, Paladin Dance needs me to open the terminal. So it's like, oh yeah, right, I'll do it. But I need a higher level hacking perk. So I go to see what intelligence I need, and I need level 4, which is why it kind of sucks now that I had gotten rid of my, didn't put my intelligence high enough. But it's fine. No, I result to leveling up. I go around, look for the CIT runes, which is an endgame area, and then I go ahead and attempt Swan. I don't know why I tried this when I was such a low level. Swan pretty much gives me the best weapon I can do in this run. He's a super mutant behemoth, he's massive. And I go ahead and try to fight him. He chases after me after throwing a boulder. And my first death happens after he uses the seismic slam. I am not ready. So I resort to going back there, but instead of going to battle Swan, I go into the Park Street Station, where I go ahead and gear up to fight Skinny Malone's crew. This is actually the very first main quest. If you can skip all the way to this being the first main quest that you can do. So I gear up with Buff Out, some heals, and Psycho, and I go absolutely crazy on his crew. He's pretty much an old mobster, kind of like Al Capone back in the day. He has like drum guns, Fortnite on the brain. They've got Tommy guns and stuff like that, and pistols. They wear fedoras or whatever, so they're really powerful. I'm constantly healing. Dog Meat isn't, fighting with me, holding them down. But again, I pretty much can one-shot or two-shot them because of the buffs that I gave myself, which is really helpful. I level up and get the hacker bonus from leveling up that far. I go ahead and find his right-hand man, Skinny Malone's right-hand man anyways, and I go ahead and take him down. Now you will see I'm throwing grenades. That's because I am allowing myself, because I don't have ranged weapons at all, to use grenades. So grenades, mines, Molotov, whatever, just to give me a little bit of an edge. So I take him down, grab a speech bobblehead, which just helps with bartering, because why not? And I meet Nick Valentine, a detective. We go ahead and we talk for a bit, and I tell him that I need help looking for a murderer and the kidnapper of my son. He agrees to help me if I can get him out. We go find Skinny Malone, and I pass a speech check with his lover or whatever, which is what Valentine was trying to do in the first place. And you know what? She agrees to leave. And then Skinny Malone was like, oh, you guys, man, you made a woman leave me. But you know what? I'll give you the count of 10 to leave. So we kind of get the heck out of there. Nick Valentine, he stares at me, talks to me, asks me, how do I find him? Which is kind of funny. I don't know why he wouldn't have asked that earlier. But, I just tell him it was luck. Dumb luck that I was in there. And you know what? He did not care, and he was thankful for it. Now, with my newfound ability to hack, I go ahead and crack the code into the security area. We get in, I found a junk jet. I'm just going to sell it for a lot of caps. And we get into a fight with synths. Now, Nick Valentine, you might have noticed, was also a synth, but what these synths are they're half human, half robot that can look like humans. And they replace humans. They kidnap humans and replace them. They're crazy. But, I thought I fought well with Paladin Dance, and you know what? He offers me a position in the Brotherhood of Steel. I think I'll take him up on that. I go ahead and really quickly, after I leveled up, right outside Diamond City, take the Lady Killer perk. More on that later. Now, this is kind of weird for me. Usually, when you get to Diamond City for the first time, the gate is shut, and you have to talk with Piper to convince the person on the inside to open it up for you because you're a traveler, a trader, whatever. But this time, it was just open. My assumption is maybe Nick Valentine, he told them to keep it open for some newcomer who saved his life. I don't know, whatever. I get inside, do an interview with Piper to get some extra experience. You get like 200 experience from just doing like 3 questions. Okay, sure, she asked me if I was on ice. I was like, yeah, I was frozen for 200 years and sleeping. See ya. Then while trying to barter with this guy, this scene played out. It was absolutely funny, so I'll be quiet here and let you listen.
2 teams would meet and play a game called baseball. One team would beat the other team to death with this thing called baseball bats, and the best bat was called Prove that.
That's not how baseball was played.
That right, Mr. Smarty Pants? Yeah, if you're such an expert, how do you think it was played?
There were balls, strikes, 3 bases, and home runs. You kept score by how many runners made it to home plate.
I like my version better.
So this guy has no idea how baseball played and thought, you play baseball by beating the other team with baseball bats. That's why he has swatters. Whatever. I go ahead and start selling everything I own, all my possessions, weapons, and whatever, because I need as many caps as I can later on to buy much better armor. Because, I'm punching stuff. I need good stuff here. We talked to Nick Valentine after going to his detective agency. And I tell him my whole life story about how my wife was killed and my kid got kidnapped, whatever. And he mentions the guy named Kellogg. This is who we are determining that kidnapped my son. So, we got to go save him. Now, why I got Lady Killer is to pass this speech check here. You can talk to the mayor's person because Kellogg's house is locked and you have to get a key. So if you talk to his assistant or whatever, with Lady Killer, you can talk and pass speech checks easier with the opposite gender. So that's what I do. I pass the speech check easier with her, and she gives me the key to Kellogg's house. That's why I got the perk. Just thought it'd be easier to do certain speech checks. Plus, you do more damage, which is always nice to the opposite gender. But that is actually where I ended up stopping playing, and that's where we're going to end this part here. This is part 1. Part 2 will be up hopefully in a couple of days later on in this March, whatever, break. But we'll see you guys next time for part 2. Bye, guys.